It's a lot. This is a lot for a shot. How do y'all do this? Put this on the bottom. Maybe this will make sense. Hi. Hello. Welcome to my channel. If you happen to be one of my subscribers already, hello. You're about to hear some information about me. Because generally I don't give out information about me, i.e. my name. I signed up for NetGalley, and I know that like the more established you are as like a book reviewer, the better your chances are at getting advanced books. So I'm gonna try and do that. So I started my book blog, and I'll be linking that in the description. But I figured, let me do a related like booktube video. Like, why not? I'll throw it out there. If someone watches, that's great. If no one watches, that's great too. Anywho, so this is just gonna be me going over some books that I've borrowed recently from the library. And I'll talk briefly about some books that are in my NetGalley that I've downloaded and I'm reading currently. And maybe what I plan to read in the short future. So, let's get to it. Starting with the oldest book I have, and the book I have to finish first. These are all physical copies I'll be talking about, as you'll see. I have Mr. Mercedes. So, I started watching the series. I think it came out 2018? And I started watching it. I have that tweet from Stephen King where he's like, oh, talking about the 3 shows of his that were coming out. So I was looking for a book. I always kind of pass by Stephen King. I figure he's like a solid author. I would probably enjoy whatever of. So I always look in case there's something that catches my eye. It caught my eye. Not this one. End of Watch, or the one that's in the middle. I don't know which one's in the middle. I think another one caught my eye. And then at some point I settled on this, and I was like, why does that sound so familiar? And then I read the flap, and I was like, yeah, the show. Now I remember. So I'm reading it now, and it's actually really good. Not terribly surprised, but it's really good. So, yeah. I gotta finish this because I borrowed it. I think it's due next week. So I can finish it. That's no big deal. I can finish that. I have like, today's the 8th, and maybe it's the 14th. I should figure out when that's due. But that's my impression of when it's due. Next book I borrowed was a book off my wish list. And I kind of went a bit like, you know when your stomach sees more, what is it? Your eyes see more than your stomach? What's the phrase? Your eyes see for your stomach or something? Essentially when you want more than you can handle. So I kind of went a bit crazy eventually, but this was the start of it. And I got a Smoke by Vyleta, I don't know, from the library. It's been on my wish list. I think maybe the audiobook is on my wish list, but audiobooks are great. Sometimes, however, accents and whatnot can distract. That was not a reason that I got the physical book. I just got the physical because it was available, and I might borrow the audiobook at some point later on to hear it if I like the book. But the premise is nice. It's about a sense of society where people who are like wicked are followed around by smoke, essentially. And essentially like, oh, the rich people are not followed around by this smoke. I think it's like above their head or something like that. I haven't yet started reading it. But I guess like the protagonists figure out that it's like all a lie. And I don't know if it's them trying to figure out how to expose everything or whatever, but that's what it is. The next book I have is another one that was off my wish list. This is A Darker Shade of Magic. And I know it's a series, and I know people have talked about it, but I barely know a thing about it besides seeing people mention that either liked it or they don't like it. I guess, like, dimension traveling and magic. I'm sold. What else is there to this dude would sell me? When I went to get this, I didn't actually. When I went to get Smoke, that was one day I went to get this off my wish list. This was like one of the only books that was available at that library physically, off my wish list. Then the next time I went to that same library, this was available. All three of the books in this series were available, but this one, the first book in the series, had not been available. So I went and I finally got it. Why is this? Oh, okay. I went and I finally got it. So, dimension traveling, magicians, I'm sold. So we got so far a crime thriller. Is it like, I guess it's also magic, maybe? I suppose it's also magic. But like a historical fantasy type, like social commentary, and then another magic book. I guess it's probably just essentially what I like in like shows and movies. Again, same time I was there when I picked up Darker Shade of Magic, I got Final Girls by Riley Sager, and this is essentially about, from what the book flap says, it's about, I guess, a bunch of different people who survived like murders or massacres, whatever. A bunch of girls who, I guess, like the media and society is trying to group together and have them like meet, never want to meet. But then one of them dies, so I don't know if at some point they eventually meet. I don't know where that goes. But the book cover really caught my eye. It looks really pretty. And I decided to get it, so I got it. Right now, of all the books I have, the only one I'm reading, because I'm a little pressed for time, is Mr. Mercedes. And then everything else will fall into place soon after that. The next book I got is York, the Shadow Cipher. And I actually didn't see this individual book first. I saw the second book, which is The Cinder something? Anyway, I was by the DVD section, and it's like essentially across from the YA section, and not the YA section proper, but like the YA section, and then there's bookshelves outside the YA section, and the sequel to this was on the top of the bookshelf, all splayed out, like, ooh, look, like, notice me. So I noticed it, but it's the sequel, so I wanted to start the series. And I think this just came out last year, or 2017, I think, and the next one's coming out maybe next year. And this is essentially about, I feel like it's giving me series of unfortunate events, because we have like ciphers and hidden clues and mystery. So I guess kind of like that Artemis Fowl secret conspiracy type of thing. So any type of time that this is what it says. It was 1978. It was 1798 when the Morning Star twins arrived in New York with a vision for a magnificent city. 57 years later, the enigmatic architects disappeared, leaving behind for the people of New York the old York cipher, a puzzle laid out in the city. So essentially, it's just big. It's a puzzle book. It's a puzzle book, and I'm sure there's going to be secrets. Why are the architects enigmatic? What's the story there? We gotta know. So, next book. Wow, that's 5 large ass books I have. Then today, I went to the doctor's appointment, and in the interlibrary system that my library is a part of, there's another library. There's a couple of libraries, but there was another library that wasn't too far from my doctor's appointment, where my doctor I saw was, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to go to the library because, on the one hand, it's close. I like to walk. It was a nice day, rainy, cold, brisk, perfect fall day. So I'm like, I kind of want to go and see this new library. I like seeing new libraries. I like seeing places and walking around and knowing more about where I am and what surrounds me. At the same time, I'm like, I don't need to go to the library. I don't need to borrow more books. I have too many. I have 5 already and I have a bunch of ebooks that I need to get through. I don't need more books. But Doctor Sleep is coming out next month, and I had not read the book. I read The Shining, or I heard The Shining, or maybe both. I don't recall. I think maybe no. I think I just read it. I think I just read The Shining. And I meant to read Doctor Sleep, and then I didn't. And now the movie's coming out, and I kind of want to see the movie, and I don't want to delay myself from seeing the movie if I have the opportunity, because I haven't read the book. So I'm like, let me just go see if the book is there. And lo and behold, the book was there. But before before I even got to the book, and first of all, I love that it wasn't available in the other two libraries I went to, because the other two libraries were primarily like a lot of hardcover books, and their paperback book section was like the paperback sections were very slim, and it was a lot of romance and just like older books. But this library I went to had a lot more paperbacks, so I appreciated that. In fact, both books that I got were paperbacks. But before I even got to this book, which is a book that I told myself, if I go to this library, I'm going to go see if they have this book, because I wanted to read it before November. I think it comes out maybe the 1st. The other book that I saw that was on my wish list, that is on my wish list, and more so because I think the adaptation, right? The TV, it's a TV adaptation I think they made, right? Was A Discovery of Witches. And just like A Darker Shade of Magic, which is the first in its series, and this is the first in its series, I think I had seen the sequel books available, but, you know, what am I going to do? I'm not going to borrow the sequel books if I don't have the first one. So these are the ones I'm going to read. I don't know which one of these I'll like. I expect I might possibly like all of them. I'm going to do my best to read them all, if I like them or not. And then that'll be that. In terms of the ebooks I have, let me look them up. Or not the ebooks I have, but the ebooks I'm reading. I'm in the middle of the Heroes of Olympus series, but I haven't downloaded the ebook on Hoopla yet because I have so many other books to read. But from NetGalley, I am reading a couple of books. The first one is River Run, and that's, I think, J.S. James is the name of the author. J.S. James. And that comes out next month. So far, it's really good. So far, I'm liking it. Another crime thriller. I think it's just going to stay straight crime thriller. I guess there's also, like, some social commentary because of where they are in the country and the protagonist's background, but so far it's okay. It's pretty good. I downloaded some other ones. I downloaded Athena's Choice, The Cult of Eden, and The Augmented Man. I think all of those have either come out or are coming out soon. I know The Augmented Man, I think that came out already. The Augmented Man by Joseph Carrabis, Athena's Choice by Adam Boostrom, and The Cult of Eden. Those are the other ebooks I'm reading. And I have a good couple after that, and after all of these hard copy books to read, that I'll be reading based on their publication dates and when they are archived or set to be archived. So, I don't know. These are the books I'm reading. I'm a big nerd. Oh! My name is Juliana. That's how I introduce myself. That's not how it's pronounced by my family, but that's how I introduce myself. That is not reflected in my channel name, but that's my name. So anyway, if you've watched this, thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts about these books, please be as vague as possible, because I don't know. I'm really only like, not super deep into Mr. Mercedes. I think me and my mother rewatched the first 2 episodes of the series. I think once I finish the series, I'll probably go back and watch it. I don't know up till what point the series goes, if the series covers all 3 books, or if it's just the first book. Stephen King has so many stuff, so much TV and whatnot out. I think Emergence. It seems like maybe it's something else he wrote, and that's coming out. I think tonight or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, please don't give me spoilers. I will put in this description um, my blog if you want to follow along, because I'll probably be updating that a lot more with regards to what I'm reading when I finish it, what my thoughts are, and what and the like. Um, I think that's about it. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I guess until next time. Yeah.